Hopefully you're able to know that failing is a part of the process. Again, for those of us that are going off to design our ideal life, to go out there and actually create a life that we don't need a break from, we have to build the capacity in order to go do that. But we also have to know that failure is a part of the process, taking the risk, trying, learning, growing, starting somewhere that we're not comfortable, and then learning how to get better, learning how to handle the situations, right? Learning how to kind of have our character grow through the process is a part of it. It's a part of it. But you guys got to know that again, your job is to just continue to keep your vision and continue to do the work necessary to build the mental toughness, to build the emotional toughness you need in order to go off and fulfill that life that you're looking for. These are just some of the reminders. Some of the reminders. Man, I forget the guy's name that's in there. Tim Grover. There we go. Tim Grover says, he said something like, this isn't about you going out and playing on the court like Michael Jordan or Kobe or Dwayne Wade. This is about you thinking like a champion. This is you thinking like a champion. We always say it here, right? Success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. So if you study successful people, if you study the way a champion thinks, champion, sure, might be on the athletic field, but it's the same thing. People that have very healthy relationships and are great parents and are great in business and are great leaders and do great things in their health or in their faith life or in the church. Like, it's all the same stuff. Success leaves clues. So if you can figure out, if you get the insight, if you get the clues on how someone successful thinks, if you copy that thought, you copy the way that they're operating, you will get a similar outcome. That's how simple it is. Not always easy, but it's simple. Find a millionaire, do as he does, you will have what he has. Find someone successful that is successful at what they do. Copy how they operate, how they think about life, how they maneuver, what their thoughts and the beliefs are about themselves, about what they do, their level of conviction, how they communicate it, who they're around, what they read, how they move on a daily basis with their 24 hours. If you copy those things, you will get similar results. We can also copy poverty. We can also copy middle class thinking. We can also copy the norm, right? We can also copy those things as well, and we'll also get those results. So we get to choose. That's the best part of what we do, ladies and gentlemen, is we get a chance to choose which side we're going to be on. We get to choose what information we're going to hold on to and apply in our lives. We get to choose. And that is the freedom of designing the life that you want, is because you get a chance to choose. The 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class. You have to learn. Champions feed their vision and starve their fear. Champions feed the vision and starve the fear. Many times we do the opposite. Many times we starve our vision. We don't feed it fuel. We don't keep like putting it in our minds. We don't read about it and think about it. We don't talk about the vision. We almost are in, many people are in a position where they never talk about their vision. Oh, I don't want someone to come steal my idea. Oh, I don't want to tell it to people and they make fun or whatever. So we almost starve the part that we know we want to get to. We starve the vision, but then we feed the fear. We feed into all the things that bring doubt and worry and right uncertainty and whether we can do it or not, our belief in ourselves. We start to feed those things with the things that we watch, with the people that we're around, with the stuff that we listen to. So we have it backwards. We have to, if you want to get to the world-class level, you've got to now feed your vision and starve your fear. Feed your vision. Give that more fuel every day. Don't give fuel to the fears that you have. Here's what it says in the text. It says, all great philosophers seem to agree that human beings become what they think about most of the time. Let's just stop there really quick so that we understand, like, this is like widely accepted. There's a widely accepted notion and understanding that we become what we think about most of the time. You become what you think about. I wanted that to like sink in because sometimes it's simple, but we skip past it. Right? Like whatever your thought life is, like you will never have a life that is above your thought life. So again, we become what we think. All great philosophers seem to agree that human beings become what they think about most of the time. For this reason, the world class creates compelling visions written with great attention to detail, fueled by emotion, and then they think about their vision all the time. The great ones seem to go through 4 stages of mental evolution after creating a world-class vision. The first stage brings them increased mental clarity, which occurs as a result of putting their dreams on paper. The second stage is an intensified focus on the vision, which occurs as a result of the performer thinking about the vision morning, noon, and night. The third stage turns their intensified focus into a burning desire, which is often fueled by the frustration of seeing and believing the vision is reality on the mental plane, but not yet on the physical plane. Champions often develop incredible visualization and self-talk skills that convince their subconscious the vision they project on the movie screen of their mind is real, when at the same time, the performer's conscious mind knows it's not. This creates what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, or 2 thoughts, cognitions, that are inconsistent. Since the human mind hates to be inconsistent, it drives the performer to take action and make the vision a reality. This success-driven behavior creates the final stage, which occurs when the vision turns into an obsession. Most of the time, it's a healthy obsession, which means the performer is thinking, strategizing, and moving closer to her vision every day. When stage 4 kicks in, failure is no longer an option. The champion will do whatever it takes to manifest the vision. The great ones fuel their obsession by only thinking positive thoughts about their vision. Yeah. And these thoughts create psychological, physiological, and spiritual energy. At this stage, they are no longer willing to entertain thoughts of fear and will shelter themselves from anything or anyone who approaches them speaking the language of scarcity. In essence, the great ones feed their vision and starve their fear. Let's go through this a bit so that we can break down some practical things you can take out of this. Because again, if we're the ones to go off and design our ideal life, I keep prefacing that, I keep bringing that back to you because the work that we do here, the work that you want to do, is only to get to an intended outcome. It's get to an intended life, to experience life the way that you want it. Normally, we're on these calls because there's something more we want out of life. There's something more we want out of our relationships or out of our health life or our spiritual life or our financial life or just our overall happiness and well-being. There's more that we want. And so when there's more that we want, we have to go to work getting the more. Like it's our responsibility to go to work on ourselves, work on our emotional intelligence, our mental toughness, our skill sets, our mindsets, all those things in order to get to that place. So the first step to getting to this place where you're feeding your vision, your fears, you're starving them, you're not giving much energy to them. Number 1 is actually writing down what you want to make happen. It says the first stage brings them increased mental clarity, which occurs as a result of putting their dreams on paper. So the first thing to do, you got to create your world-class vision. You got to create what you're trying to make happen. I say this stuff over and over again, but it is tough if we don't spend time with ourselves to actually think about what we want. What is it that, not what our family wants for us or what we think is best to appease all the people in our lives, but personally, what is it that we want? What's our vision? And once you have it, are you writing it down? Are you putting it down on paper? That is the first step. If you haven't done that, got to start there. Not pass go, do not collect $200, right? Just spend some time with yourself, writing down the vision, put your dreams on paper. Most people don't get to their desired life because they don't actually know what their desired life is. They have very vague picture of what life looks like, of what they might want. Oh, I might want to not work. Oh, I might want to live at a house that looks like this. Oh, I might want to, do this job. Like people, it's very vague. Your job, get clear. Again, the way we get clear is we think about it, we spend time, and then we write it down. So put those dreams on paper. The second stage, it says, is an intensified focus on the vision. An intensified focus on the vision. I think they have it here in like a visual, right? Yeah. So increased mental clarity is the first step. Then you got to have an intensified focus on it. So I know what I want now. I figured out what I want. I've written it down. Now I'm focused on this. I'm reading this vision every day. I'm feeding my vision. I'm not feeding my fear of why it won't work and the worry and what I don't have and all the lack and the resources I don't have and the knowledge I don't have. I'm not feeding that side. I'm feeding the side of what I actually want to make happen. What am I focused on? Who do I want to become? What is it that I'm trying to, right, put into the world? What value am I adding? Whatever that focus is when you have to get serious. It's when you have to say, okay, this is what I want, and nothing's going to stop me from getting this. So I'm going to just lock in and stay focused. I think it says here, right? This is where there's a performing thing about yeah, there we go. The second stage is an intensified focus on the vision, which occurs as a result of the performer thinking about the vision morning, noon, and night. So once you have a vision, how much are you feeding it? How much are you perfecting it? How much are you reading it over and over to yourself? Or do we write it down and then we put it away in the closet? We tuck it away in the notes app in our phone that we never open up. We put it somewhere in a desk drawer. We put it in a book somewhere on the side. It's never sitting right out on our desk, right in front of us, so that we can always pick it up and review it. That's something we got to work on. That's the second step, right? That's the second step, is your intensified focus. The third step is that burning desire gets fueled by frustration. This is what they call the season of pain, but this is where a lot of people sit. I've been here. There's times that this flashes up in my life consistently. It's because you've now done the work to put on your brain exactly what you want to make happen. You've read it, you see it, it's like right there, your vision's right in your face. You got it. But then this season comes in. This season comes into our life where it's cognitive dissonance, where what we believe in our mind is not what we see with our eyes, right? What we believe with our mind, the fact that we've now kind of plastered this vision on our minds, like, man, that's what we want. It's what God's called us to do. Let's go make this happen. We're excited about it. That's why they call it the excitement phase. And then there might be months, weeks, years of you thinking that this is going to happen and seeing it in your mind's eye, but your circumstances around you not changing. You not seeing anything change. The thing that you can see in your vision about how your relationship changes, it doesn't happen. It actually gets worse. So now you have cognitive dissonance. You have this thing where people start to say, I have to see it to believe it. I got to see this happen. I can't believe this anymore because my brain's going to go crazy, right? Like I'm not going to be stable if I keep believing that something's going to happen and it doesn't happen in front of me. That's why they call that the season of pain, because it happens to a lot of people. And that's where dreams go to die. And that's where you have this kind of waiting period where you're like, am I crazy? Like, isn't this what like I saw? Isn't this the vision? Isn't this what God spoke to me? Isn't this like how it's supposed to work? But you're looking around and you're not seeing anything change. Most people give up in that stage. Most people stop. Most people say, maybe I didn't hear clearly. Maybe this wasn't for me. That's when we start feeding more of the fear, feeding more of the doubt, feeding more of the worries. That's what happens. We feed it versus just continuing to read the vision, continuing to feed the vision, continuing to let that be the thing that we know. If we have, like it says in here, good self-talk and good visualization tactics. says champions often develop incredible visualization and self-talk skills that convince the subconscious that the vision they're projecting is real. That's where mental toughness comes in. That's where self-talk skills comes in. That's where your ability to visualize. That's where your ability to not be distracted, to not listen to people that are right, not feeding, excuse me, that vision. It's a hard season of life. Some of you might be in it, but know, right, that you can get out of it if you stay focused, because the last season, the knowing phase, is the healthy obsession. It's after you've got that burning desire and you see it on your mind's eye, in your mind's eye, and things aren't really changing, but you just know like this is gonna happen no matter what. The persistence I have, the conviction I have, like it's going to happen. That's when it turns into a healthy obsession. That's when the vision that you wrote down, there's nothing that will happen that will allow you not to get it. Again, it says it here. It says when stage 4 kicks in, failure is no longer an option. The champion will do whatever it takes to manifest the vision. The great ones fuel their obsession by only thinking positive thoughts about their vision. And those thoughts, the thoughts that we have, create psychological, physiological, and spiritual energy. Once you have that obsession, that healthy obsession, when your thoughts change, your life changes. When you're changing how you're thinking about your vision and what's a non-negotiable and what price you're willing to pay, and the fact that you're willing to starve your fear and not feed into those things and continue to feed your vision, once you have it, changes who you are. It creates psychological, physiological, and spiritual energy. This is why the thesis of the calls is if you change your thinking, you change your life. If you change how you even think about your vision, if you change how you even think about what's possible or what you can go off and do, if you just have a different belief system put in place, you get a different perspective, you get a fresh word, you get something that shifts, that transforms your mind, you will have a different outcome. The transforming of our mind is what allows us to change our actions, change our habits, change who we believe we are, which changes our character, which changes our capacity that we have, which gives us a different outcome in life. If we think the same thoughts, if we believe the same things, we get the same outcomes. So, first things first, write your vision down if you have not done it. I feel like I tell you all this like every month at some point, right? To write your vision down. And some of you still haven't. It's okay. I understand. Sometimes it takes a while for it to sink in, right? But write it down. Write it down. And then read it to yourself every day, couple times a day, 4 times a day, 3 times a day. Feed your vision. Feed it. Feed it. Add to it. Think about how good it would feel. Think about what it'll do for your community or your society. Like feed that side. Don't feed the fear side. Starve that side. Don't let the world come in and tell you how it can't happen or why it won't happen or why you're not capable of doing it, or right, that you don't have the knowledge or the resources or the people. Like that's the fearful side. We're going to stick with feeding the vision. Plaster that thing onto your brain. And then you're going to hit that season of life where you can see it in your mind's eye, but it's not changing. You believe fully with all your being that you're a multimillionaire, but your bank account is still negative. That there's a season of your life that you are not crazy. It's cognitive dissonance. You're not crazy. It's you programming your subconscious to get everything out of life that you actually want, that you actually desire, that you deserve. That's that season of life. So that season of frustration and pain, and those seasons where you have real big hopes, you can't let the world take those hopes. We call them hope stealers, dream stealers. They're all around you. They're all around you. You got a dream, you plaster this on your mind, you're reading it every day. I promise you there's people around you that will try to steal that dream. And it's in this phase. It's in that season of pain where it's easier for doubt to creep in. It's easier for things to happen where we're influenced. That's when you work harder. that's when you plaster the vision on even more. And then you get to the knowing phase where you're like, oh, we're going to make this thing happen no matter what. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. It's not an if, it's a when. And you start to operate out of that. And ladies and gentlemen, when you operate out of that, there's nothing that's going to stop you from getting your vision. There's nothing that's going to stop you. This quote from Ayn Rand says, "The world you desire can be won. It exists. It's real. It is possible. It's yours." The action step for today says, just for today, decide that you will only think thoughts of love and abundance, especially as they relate to your vision. Refuse to entertain any thoughts of fear or scarcity, and shelter yourself from anything or anyone that brings you negative energy. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's tough to shield ourselves from people that might be bringing that energy, especially if we want to help them or pick them up or lift them. But in us getting to the life that we don't need a break from, and you all getting to the life that you want to design, you have to be very intentional about what you consume, what you allow in. And in this, what we talked about today, learning how to feed your vision and starve your fear might come with you cutting off some people or cutting off some things that are feeding the fear more than feeding your vision. Anything we focus on grows. I want you to focus on your vision, focus on your future, then focus on your past, focus on the fears. Keep jumping on these calls every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning. Invite people that need to hear that little shift in perspective, that little mindset shift. They might just need to hear the word of the day, whatever it is to get them going. But for us, we got to take hold of these messages and we got to apply them in our life. Remember, knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. So all the stuff that you know, now you got to go do what you know to create the life you want. Love you guys. Enjoy your Monday. I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Take care.